The point that we brought you here for was that Trump has a plan for internment camps. There are 12 cities in California that are on the list, and we are one of them. And for some reason, this hasn't been reported in media, and we'd like to get it out there. And what it is to round up homeless people and put them in former jails and other buildings, which sounds very familiar, like something that's been repeated through history and should not be repeated again. And if the cities don't comply, then they'll have their HUD money taken away. So we're asking our city and our leaders, all the cities and the county, to stand up like they did for immigration and make our city a sanctuary city for homeless, or stand up and say, we are not going to stand idly by for this. We are going to stand up and fight for our unhoused people. Because the solution for homeless people is not internment camps. It is providing safe places for them. It is providing more shelters, more navigation centers, sanctioned encampments. Those were passed in 2015, December of 2015, and we've made so much progress on that. And more domestic violence shelters, more treatment centers, more family shelters. This is what we need to do. So we're asking our city leaders, our county leaders, what are you going to do to protect our unhoused people and fight Trump's ridiculously stupid idea to round up unhoused people in internment camps?
I stand here today as a formerly homeless person who was just housed this Monday. I have seen, I was displaced and became homeless due to an abandonment from my husband. I am here to stand against Laura's Law. I am here to stand against these encampments of hurting up people. I think that we need more housing for low income, very low income. We can't just stand by and allow these things to happen. I was in a shelter setting mixed with people with disabilities, with families, with people who had drug past, who've formerly been imprisoned. There's not enough housing. We cannot stand by and just allow these things to happen. We have to demand that the government does something. We have to demand that our community leaders do something. During this month and the upcoming month of the new year, many people will be going around letting their kindness flow. We need this kindness to flow year in and year out as we walk past people on the street, as we see a mom sitting outside the store who needs a couple of dollars to get her to her next food stamp day. I am here against Laura's Law. I am here against all of these things. We have to stand together. I will soon be starting my home-based business back that I used to have before becoming homeless. We also have to educate people about homelessness and that not everyone is a criminal. Not everyone has a horrible past. These are doctors and lawyers and teachers and parents and fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters. These are people, clergymen. These are people of our community. We cannot just stand back and allow this to happen. Thank you.
The criminalization of homeless, gathering of people, and basically imprisoning people for nothing more than just being poor. This society has created this situation. The fact that our government has refused to build the housing that's required in order to be able to take care of this problem. The fact that this city council here continues to ignore the cries of the people that are requesting the help, the things that they need, the basic needs that everyone needs. Clean water, a place to go to the bathroom, a place to throw your trash, a place to rest your head and not be hassled by police or anyone else coming along the way. These are all things that everybody up in that tower there appreciates every night. They and their families get to sleep very comfortably every night in a nice warm bed. People that are sleeping out in the streets don't have this luxury. They don't have the opportunity to be able to just get up and go whenever they need to go. They're being forced into different places. So I suggest that the city council take back what they voted 2 years ago, 9-1, to bring in sanctioned encampments so that people do have a safe place to be, so they can be secure. They can get out of survival mode and start working on trying to take care of whatever problems led to their homelessness, and get back into society, become productive, and reunite with their families, get the treatment they need if they need it, you get the food they need if they need it, and get whatever it is that they need, instead of being hassled and run around from place to place, or gathered, corralled, and put into prisons or into cells or into FEMA camps or whatever you want to call them. It's not their choice of what they want. And Laura's Law is another one of those things that they're using. It's another tool to criminalize people and to take away their freedoms. So I stand here with the Santa Clara County Homeless Union and representing them, and would like to continue to support the efforts of this group. Thank you.
I was born in Valley Med. I grew up in the Horseshoe. So these issues surrounding the Guadalupe Creek are very personal to me. I'll read to you what I read at the City Council meeting with regard to Laura's Law a couple of days ago. Members of the Council, my fellow citizens, in the spirit of the ancient Greek forums of old, when men of reason, logic, and a sense of civic duty gathered to bear witness to the affairs that impact the body politic, it is with great humility that I present my contention. Human compassion, moral conviction, ethical concerns compel me to challenge the well-intentioned, politically expedient, yet ignorant assertion that the county should implement Laura's Law as a tool. Human beings are not broken parts in a machine requiring a tool. We are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that to secure these rights, governments were instituted to provide for the common welfare. My homeboys and homegirls along the Guadalupe are not in need of a cell to get well. They are in need of spiritual physicians to heal their human condition. Can you realize that the law has no place when a human needs shelter? It is not yesterday's decision. Is not yesterday's decision by the Supreme Court permitting the lower court's ruling to stand that a human being has a right to erect a shelter on any public sidewalk or park if the city or county fails to provide housing? A vindication of the law having no place if no shelter exists? As a society, in order to have social justice, we must first practice economic justice. The notion that putting a gun at a citizen, ordering him to put his hands behind his back because he's experiencing the abject consequences of poverty, generational trauma, PTSD, and schizophrenia is insane. Members of the council, I appeal to your sense of humanity, which should be the ethical guide in the legislation of laws that impact men's lives. We are at a precipice. Your decisions will impact the lives of not only the least one of these, but will reflect on us as a community bearing our impotency in dealing ethically, morally, and compassionately with our fellow citizens.
And what my fear is, as well as the consequences of these kinds of policies to the people that can't defend themselves against them, I am also fearful of what is happening to us existentially as human beings, to where our own humanity is denied when we deny the humanity in others. Thank you.
Death count for this year, it's 161 so far. Last year, the final death count was 165. And that's between December 1st of last year and December 1st of this year. Between December 1st of last year and the end of the year, 20 people died. So just keep in mind that, and we already know that there's several people that have died just this month. So we expect the death toll to rise a lot. And out of that, more than 50% of the people that died on the streets this year were seniors over 55. And only 18% of those people who died on the streets here were under 40. So there's clearly something that needs to be addressed in our county. Everyone knew that baby boomers were gonna get old, so I don't know how we didn't plan for that. It wasn't a surprise, didn't sneak up on anyone. I just feel like that's something that we really need to address because we're not addressing seniors. And the other thing that I wanted to point out was two of the oldest people to die on the streets were two 90-year-olds or people in their 90s. One was 94, and the youngest people to die on the streets were two babies. They died the day they were born. So, and last year it was also two babies that died. So we're obviously not making a whole lot of progress here.
The Supreme Court recently declined to review Martin versus the City of Boise, a Ninth Circuit decision finding that governments cannot criminalize homelessness and arrest folks who have no alternative than to sleep outdoors. The Trump administration is now attempting to circumvent the law by promoting practices that have the effect of criminalizing homelessness. Specifically, the Trump administration wants to provide additional resources to police departments to remove homeless encampments, to warehouse unhoused folks in institutional settings, and even take funds away from cities that do not take actions to get rid of homeless encampments. Criminalizing our neighbors who are unhoused is unconstitutional and should not be sanctioned by our government. This is especially the case when there are few services available to help folks transition from homelessness, or when there is no adequate shelter available. In Santa Clara County, 82% of unhoused people are unsheltered. This means that almost 8,000 people in Santa Clara County are without shelter. In San Jose alone, homelessness has risen nearly 42% since 2017. Moreover, 45% of unhoused folks in San Jose have a disabling condition. In Santa Clara County, there are only approximately 1,200 shelter beds available. Less than 70 of those beds are specifically set aside for victims of domestic violence. Less than 70 beds are also only set aside for families. Criminalization is not the answer. More affordable housing and supportive services are what is needed.